Welcome back to Secrets and Sabotage. So we've got a amazing guest on today. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We've met, myself and Ryan met on Drag Race, not last year, the year before with Ginger that won.
Yes.
So you were the host, fantastic host I might add as well. Got
Thank
everyone
you.
pumped. It was at the TikTok studios, I think, was it last time? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And obviously I'm a massive fan of drag. And then you'll also be at DragCon in next week, won't you? Next week.
Yes,
I saw that advertised only this week on socials, and that does look crazy.
Yeah, it is the largest convention of queer people dressed as women.
That's gonna be that's gonna. I want to go.
It's insanity, and I think because of the fact that the franchise has globalized in the last little while, like it's amazing to see queens from all over the world be able to meet their fans. But I have myself rooted deeply in reality as well, because I was on Netflix's Big Flower Fight, which I had to pretend to be a florist, and I won. And then I was on the Big Proud Party Agency on BBC Three. So I've cut my teeth in the reality scripted world.
Bit of a veteran then.
Yeah.
More than me. I've only done one.
I did drag for 2 years in the theatre.
Oh, okay.
That was
Well, that's where the term comes from, dressed as a girl.
well, 5 older sisters. So basically, I didn't know that I was a boy until I was 11.
So you were just a mannequin.
Pretty much. And that was we did this.
Let's try a cat eye.
Yeah.
That would have been, wear this dress.
Yeah.
And then when I did musical theatre for years, that's my training.
Yeah.
And there was a show that I did called Daddy Cool.
Okay.
But one of the characters, the producers sat me down, and they were so nervous about it as well, which I thought was weird then. But the way they approached it, because I think they didn't think I would be up for doing it, because they were like, we've got a scene in this which is going to be set in Camden, and what we want to have is a representation of Camden. So we want to have a really big out there drag queen. And we were wondering, and I was like, yes, 100% I'll do it. I was like, there was zero question. I was like, we are doing this. And when we did the design of it, we had this quite hideous outfit, like long dress. I was like, have you seen these legs? we're going mini skirt. I'm going to need heels. I need massive boobs, and I want long hair. And it was like Tina Turner on steroids.
I love it. And then in the daytime, you're like Idris Elba meets Mr. T.
Ryan is a massive fan. He's watched season 1, 2, and 3. So
You didn't watch them in the same
No.
normal order, did you?
No, I was like so consumed with Drag Race, and all of a sudden I was like, what is this hooded game that everyone's talking about? And then I started watching it, and I was just so just completely engaged by the social manipulation and the idea of like being a deceptive person in a room full of strangers.
Yeah.
I thought it was just so like up my alley.
absolutely love it.
Yeah, so I watched season 2, and then I watched season 1, and then and now we're on.
What did you think of watching season 1 after watching season 2?
I feel like season 2 had a lot of chaos in it because people were understanding the modules you need in order to be a traitor or a faithful.
Yeah.
In season 1, you just had these raw people who were just there trying their best to win the game.
Yeah.
And so they didn't understand like the sort of meta psyche that you go through now.
Absolutely.
You can definitely see people in season 3 like understanding how the game works and how they can find different pathways to win.
Yeah, we were speaking about Mina, so she's been playing such an amazing...
Flawless.
Mina, I'm going to look straight into the camera and tell you that you are a quiet legend.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's been, and you can see that you've got that experience from watching the first 2 shows, and she's playing it perfectly.
So the reason I'm so obsessed with this show is because, like, as a queer person of color, like, we have to code switch quite a lot when we're younger. So like when you're in a room full of white people, you just like don't be the most Indian, or when you're in a room full of straight people, don't be the most gay or the most flamboyant. Now we're in a really like inclusive world.
A good time.
You can
It's a good time.
You can be alive and you can be queer and you can be whatever you need to be. But back then you couldn't deviate.
Yeah.
And so now when I watch this show, it's so nice to see the producers cast a really amazing group of people who are very like-minded, but also very honest and very pure. But then there's some people who like almost like birth their queerness and their ability to code switch on camera, which I think is fascinating.
Code switching is I never thought about it until I got older, because it's the same thing being a black guy growing up in North London. And I'm from a suburb of North London, so when we were kids, we were literally the black family on the street. So how you act when you're around all the other white people is very differently to how you act when you're with family or you're with cousins, or then you go other areas where it is a lot more mixed, or even going to interviews.
Yeah, so true.
Was such a. I remember going to one of my first interviews for like a part-time job when I was like 16, and the guy said to me, "You don't speak like a black guy," and I lost my shit.
Yeah,
it was the first time I ever remember really losing my shit and having to go at someone, and then you start to sort of. I don't know if you ever found like sort of doubting yourself, because you then start going, who am I actually?
Of course. I think like as you grow up, you go through this whole like reintroduction to yourself. And I remember being a kid and my mom was like, I named you Ryan because I didn't want you to have any trouble in life. And I was born in Canada. So I was like, cool. Everyone has really like similar names like Chris, Charlie, Ryan, Kevin. And then I came to the UK, and when I apply for a job as Ryan, I get an interview. If I were to apply for a job as Baljit, I probably won't get an interview, depending on what that person's prejudice is like, which definitely goes straight into the game of Traitors, because Mina is coming in as a quiet, sheepish black woman who is just trying to play the game, but has all of that like diagnosed trauma that she's dealt with, and she knows exactly how to play in the room. And I'm just like head to the stone, Mina. Like,
and age experience, life experiences, and she's a very, very smart lady as well. Very smart lady.
I mean, I think most women of color are.
I've got 5 older sisters. And so what's weird...
I keep forgetting you've got 5 older sisters.
You know what? There's so many things that I'm realising now as an adult I didn't realise was such benefits to when I was a kid, because you think, I only knew empowered women. So that's just what life looked like, because they didn't have the choice, because if you lost your temper, you were the angry black woman.
Yeah, exactly.
So they got a lot of that. So you have to, even now, I'm very good with my temper because of my size, just physicality alone. Forget everything else. If I lose my temper, even if I'm right, I will still get looked at as the aggressor.
And what happens if you lose your temper in drag?
Oh God, that's fabulous.
You're fierce, honey.
Absolutely love them. We're gonna have to say. In fact, we should do one in drag, mate. You do me, and we
threaten me with a good time. That's my 3rd outfit choice.
We should do one in drag. I've always wondered what I'd look like done up. So I think I've got quite a decent foundation.
You've got a good jawline. You've got good eyes. I reckon it'll shave you, get a really good lace wig on you, and I reckon we can make you look great.
So. Season 3 cast. Obviously, we spoke about Mina. What do you think about the other 2 traitors?
I don't want to drag them, but I really do want to drag them. I think Linda and Armani did like an awful job as traitors. I think Linda did the least and wasn't paying attention to her body language, and Armani was doing the absolute most, and she just gave it away just from the beginning by talking too much and trying to manipulate people and create narratives.
We had Will on one of the other shows as well, and he said, like, there's levels to the game, and she become. I mean, I'd say for the first 3 episodes, she's given us entertainment value, 100%. But gameplay, you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
The level of confidence that woman had in episode 2 onwards was phenomenal. I've not seen it before, so
but she wasn't like because she was bad watching. But in there, I just love her confidence.
This is Armani.
yeah.
Armani's amazing because she's a strong, powerful woman. And like, I think she's an incredible like spirit. But I think with that, she should have like seen that as a skill and just completely diffused it.
Yeah.
And like walked in there as like this sort of like what's the ex soldier is doing, Leanne.
Yes.
Like, Leanne is playing it really smart.
She's playing it really, really smart.
And there are people who like don't understand how to wield these like I guess these fake storylines and characteristics in order to benefit them further down the game.
Yeah.
They're just picking them out of a hat. So, like, why is Charlotte being Welsh for no reason?
That is one thing which made no sense at all.
If anything, she's like, I'll give myself an obstacle in this mind game.
You just made it harder for you.
It's a lot to keep up. I mean, to do that, and you know when you're just having the moments of distraction, or you might be after a mission, or the risk of slipping up is so high.
Yeah.
Like, what a calculated risk to take.
Well, I mean, we even saw this with Amanda in season 1. Like, she found out that was it Mandy or someone who was an actress?
Maddie.
Maddie. So as soon as she found out that Maddie was an actress, she basically told anyone with ears that Maddie is lying.
Yeah.
So if Charlotte slips and one of the traitors finds out, she could use that as evidence, and people need to go by hard evidence in this game.
Yeah.
As soon as you suggest something that is real, you become a traitor.
Yes.
And because everyone is there's a consciousness universe and a collective of people just trying to agree something.
Yeah.
And so when you are in that game at that round table and you are saying things that aren't real, people can sense it.
Yeah.
This is why people think Charlotte is a traitor, is because she's faking the Welsh accent and everyone can sense it.
Yeah. You can sense that there's something that wasn't right about her. You don't know what it is, but that feeling.
There's something, yeah.
It's there.
And the first three episodes, I've been a contestant myself, like, people will look for the smallest route out. So the round table's a brutal but fantastic experience at the same time. But if you've given something during the day, be prepared to come up at the round table, but also have the skill set to unravel that at the round table as well. Because if you've seen it with Nathan, poor Nathan that went first person to go, got blindsided massively. Actually would have been a really good player.
I felt the same as when I watched you on the show. When you got eliminated, I was like, damn, he was going to be really good. And I could tell. So Nathan, justice for Nathan.
Yeah, and
justice for Nathan.
I spoke to we come to that. Nathan was the first chalkboard spelling for this time round. But the slightest thing, because people are quite embarrassed to challenge people and that. I think once the game evolves, you'll see it will change massively. But for the first couple of episodes, people don't really have much.
No, you
and
don't.
They will do herd mentality.
Yeah. Well, the first couple of episodes, you just want to whittle it down. And realistically, you act upset. Yeah. You don't care. You only. I think in the first maybe 4 or 5 episodes, you're just going, just don't be me. Deflect, get rid of it, and then you want to watch to see how other people sort of react to it and who's doing what, and then you'll have a better idea. But the first ones, you just want to sort of keep your chair.
I'm just going to sit. I'm going to chip in when I need to chip in.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up when I need to shut up. I'm going to have friends, because if you isolate yourself there, you're going to become a target. If you're too vocal, if you're too quiet, there's a very lovely middle ground just to get through a few episodes.
We do that with panel shows. Panel shows and panel show read-throughs. When I think the first panel show read-through I went for was like 8 out of 10 cats. And I tried to speak at every single opportunity to show producers that I'm funny.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a bit of an annoyance because you just won't shut up.
Yeah.
And then you find out later on that the key is to speak when it's going to have the most impact. Regardless of what it is, it needs to have the most impact at that point. And that's the thing Armani didn't do, because she was speaking to, and I get it, because she's going, if I speak to everyone, I can find out what everyone thinks. And you go, that's not really going to, that's not going to work.
So if I was Maya and Armani, I would have done a couple things. The first one I would sit with my sister and ask them what is it that you see within me, and then you learn what those skill sets are and then try to dial those down. I think also if I was with Maya as my sister, I would have a code for the next day to wear a certain color that tells them if I'm a traitor or a faithful, so no one would even know except for us.
Very clever.
In the game.
Very clever.
So that's how you play it as a visual. Because I don't like how Maya got spun out, and then Maya was being so honest and just telling the cameras, my sister's she's moving funny. And it's because Armani was I'll just get to the end and be we did it, sis, but instead of being let me let you in on this. So that's where that sort of intersection occurred, where Maya was something's up and I don't know what it is, and you can just see Maya's morals and values coming into play, being this is just a game and you got to go because you're messing up.
Also, at the round table, I think Armani probably would have went regardless anyway. But her sister putting the doubt in there did cement the rest of the vote.
What's really important to know is that Maya was never going to do that. In every other situation, she never threw her sister under the bus. But it wasn't until Armani said, I don't know if my sister's a faithful or a traitor. Trying to create this. And so this is a marketing term. It's selling the sizzle, not the sausage. It's when you start selling people speak, at the end of the day, when they receive a product or evidence, that is what they value it on. And so what Armani started doing was just spewing to everybody, but not having anything concrete to give anyone. So when she was sitting at that table being what about you, Kaz? What about Charlotte? I don't know what's going on, Saz. She didn't actually have a concrete lie in her mind that people could believe.
And that's a really good point about her sister, because you look at because the amount of time she actually said to camera, there's something not right with my sister. But then never mentioned it when they were actually around the castle. That's really
She never said anything, and
because she knew.
And she was I got you, but you're floundering, and I don't know what to say. So eventually she's am I a faithful or am I your sister in this game? And at the end of the day, if she's a faithful and she's a traitor, they're no longer sisters.
Also, with her, she has cemented herself as a faithful, I would say, the sister now, because Hermione's gone out. Potentially, you never know in that show. But that's why I think she might also be the one that be killed.
Yeah, I definitely think that we got to...
If she doesn't get killed, she would have been recruited.
Yeah.
That's my thinking at this point in time, because now there's no need for... If you're a traitor, I've got no need for her to be here now.
Yeah.
So, and before, even if they had the code where I now know that, oh, you're a traitor, I'm a faithful, if I know that now, someone else already picked up on there's two sisters, one of them by chance is probably a traitor. So once that thought was there, but then I also think from Armani's, from her performance, probably gave people that thought.
I feel like if I was a traitor and I knew my sister was a faithful and I wasn't allowed to tell her, and we had no secret game that we were playing in within ourselves, I would have killed her right away. I would have just been like, killed the sister right away. Then people would be like, she's gone. You just cry because your sister's gone, and then you just cemented yourself.
Love it.
Of not being a not being a traitor.
Yeah, fair. If you're going to play the game, that's exactly how you.
And if any other traitors there, they're going to be like, why are there two people in here, like reserving a piece of the pie? Get them out. I think it's the main artery of a true winner, traitor, or faithful is someone who just practiced honesty.
Yeah.
Because that is the main vein of just being able to read the room. Like, that's how Harry got really far.
Yeah.
And that's how Amanda was able to play the game as well. Like, and that's why Wilfred didn't, because he was too emotional.
Yeah.
At certain points, it becomes too phony.
He actually mentioned that. It's a very, very clever point, Ryan. Like I said, we've had Will on, and he said, I was emotional. I think Amanda was the one that was playing the game to... Alyssa didn't have a chance, bless her, but playing it to perfection, I would say, Amanda. The senior figure of the unit, etc. But then we've seen that with Mina now as well, where she's learned each episode.
This is a great case study, is like Amanda versus Linda. Like, Linda came in as this like eccentric 70-year-old who like just does lots of crazy things and was an opera singer. She should have kept that erraticness and been like, I don't know who it is. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not. Rather than going super stoic and quiet and then just literally waiting for anyone to say traitor.
Oh, she just looks guilty.
Yeah, like she's blushing at the wrong time. She's like, as soon as Tyler's like, I know who the other two are, she's immediately stop making her gin and tonic. And
however, let's give it up for Linda, because without, I say, Hermione and Linda and Yin, but mainly Linda, in the first 3 episodes, she has given so much to us. Like,
TV.
So much stuff she's given with her. I have to turn around when I'm called a traitor.
I just love how Yin in the middle of the first episode, like, she just says in the kitchen, like, I need to build my social capital, and I'm just like, who says that? Who's in the kitchen, like, telling everyone that you need to build social capital? Maybe I do.
Well, we've never seen Yin's a unique one. We've never seen actually someone come in with that. I think probably one of the smartest people probably ever to go on there, but obviously her massive downfall. But
who is your favourite faithful right now?
My favourite faithful at the moment.
You can name a couple.
Yeah, okay, fine. Like, let's think. I really feel like Francesca's got something interesting about her, because like, what I think is interesting about this cast is there are people that stick out because of their character or their intellect or their backstory. And there's some people you completely forget about. Like Leon, I've forgotten about. Francesca, I've forgotten about. Liv, I've forgotten about.
Lisa is one I'm watching, the priest.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and the quintessential like arc of Traitors is the main characters, the ones who get to the end, are never the ones at the beginning. And it's because of the fact that they're just quiet, and they like you said, keep their chair, and then eventually they're just in the center of the game. And so this is why I'm watching how little we see of people who get the backseat edit. That's what I'm watching for. Very, very clever tactic as well. The other one I was talking about as well was Dan. What do you think of Dan? Dan. Oh, okay, wait. There's Dan and Joe, isn't there? Yeah. Dan and Joe, to me, are the same person. They're both equally annoying. And they're very triggering. Right? I mean, you have Dan there who's like, a risk assessment manager, and he's just like, I'm not getting involved. Everyone for themselves. I'm like, that's not the vibe that you need right now. Like, you need to have camaraderie. Tyler is one of my little fan favourites at the moment. I'm really warming to Tyler. I really like... I mean, he was very good as well. I mean, Nathan got both traitors when he went out. I think it's Ellen's exit. Let's talk about Ellen's exit.
Let's talk about Ellen.
I mean,
so emotional.
Oh,
I feel like the game between Charlotte and Ellen was its own season in its own.
yeah.
I want all of the unedited B-roll just to know exactly what kind of Welsh chat that went down. Because Ellen was just so honest. Like, she is a strong woman who is basically sat there going, I think it's 3 women here. And like, that is so smart. And all of it, and like, I just really think that sometimes we are learning to listen less to the loudest people. And like, I think it's so important. Like, Ellen is a really beautiful example of how we should listen to people more often.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I was gutted when she left. Like, I was really, it's such a sad and genuine, like, what you saw with her is what you got. And I think I've seen an interview after.
She's a prime example of those people who are just really honest and pure and have a dream, and then they move to London and just get trampled on.
Basically.
That was Ellen. That's what happens to most people who move to London.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think you're right, though. Like, being on unscripted reality television and in that world, like, you don't know what it's like to be on that show until you've done it, and then anyone else on reality television will get you. Because, like, you know that there's you, the camera, the producer, the situation, everyone else's opinion, and like it becomes such a melting pot of chaos.
Then you've got Freddie, Leon, Liv. One's sort of Freddie's like the sex symbol this year, is he? Freddie's done his shower scene. He's done his presser.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like, my dream was to be the Black Prime Minister.
Oh my God! Literally,
go girl.
You can see the social media going from him as well. Very similar to Aaron in our season, where straight away he's got the fan favorite on that side.
What I'm interested in, though, is that like this season there aren't that many people who are there for the missions. Like, it kind of feels like everyone there is like there to figure out who's a traitor and a faithful, but they're not there to be a team.
There was the mission they did when they were on the boat and they had to row and they kept leaving the money, and I was like, you had time to get the money.
Yeah,
like, it was that mission didn't feel hard. And again, when we were speaking to Wolf, and he made this really good point, that they've made the missions more psychological this year.
Totally.
So it's not just about having fun. It is very much about how can we get people to play off each other and kind of annoy each other at one point.
I mean, you even had like Linda and Mina going against it, like on the boat, when really they should be in a situation where they're so neutral to each other, or just being, but maybe that was a good tactic as well. But I just think it's interesting because it just feels like the psychology is only affecting Charlotte and Chasm, because like it's just like Chasm's just getting the raw end of the stick. Like he's literally just there being told that he is a villain.
As a comedian, I've got a very different level of what I think is too far.
Yeah.
And I was like, so... Everyone's like, I can't believe he said Harold Shipman. What? Oh, this is crazy. I was like, he's basically saying that you think because he's a doctor, he likes to kill people.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
I mean, it has no legs at all. Like, his job has nothing to do with the fact that he's at that table.
So when he was like, after your theatrics, I'm 100% sure that you're a traitor. Yeah. Like,
it's
you need to calm down.
It's all about archetype, though. As soon as you say something, people just like subconsciously put a whole bunch of opinion on you.
Yeah.
And like, it's as subconscious as them looking at you going, do I find you attractive or do I not? And then they can't get rid of that bias.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why Harry and that young girl had such a great friendship.
Molly,
and that's why everyone believed Harry, because he was handsome and young and an ex-soldier. And like in this situation, Leanne is like, she's just completely irrelevant as a nail technician.
Yeah.
But as soon as someone clocks her in military gear, being able to run around, they're like, wait a second, what's going on?
Very, very true. I think, again, there's some people that have, again, watching the dynamics of how the groups, and obviously, the edit and all of this works out. Some people, the name of the game is survive.
Yeah.
It's just simple. You can have as many tactics and gameplays. Survival is your main mission.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Once you get to like 7, 8, 9, 10, then start to activate some of your game plans. But just survive. And there's some fantastic Leanne, Tyler, there is a few. I think we see some big chops and changes.
How did you feel about Fozia and the Yorkshire lad and exiting themselves?
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. Fantastic talking point. So having experienced that myself, they've done it on steroids this year.
Yeah.
I believe, like we all know, you can't leave the show. It has to be banished or murdered. Okay. So they are coming back.
Wink.
They are coming back.
Yeah.
How they come back is up for multiple discussions. I said to Manu earlier, I don't know whether whatever the impact is, it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the biggest twists we've seen in out of all 3 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
I think they come back. I said to Randy earlier, do they all come back as traitors because they sacrificed themselves at the beginning?
Yeah.
Does that warrant them all coming back? Or is there a massive dilemma where one of them will be a traitor and the other two will go home? That's my theory around there.
Yeah,
I think 5 traitors would be amazing.
I think they might bring them in as all 3. Because you bring one in, they're going to think they've lost a traitor. Straight away, that person's going to become a target, same as what me and Amos were.
Yeah.
So you have to think of what the group dynamics will perceive them by, or see what they... You don't know. It depends what person it is as well, because you've got 3 completely unique characters there that have gone out. And fair play to them, I was about to say, to actually do that sacrifice at the beginning, because you saw a couple of other contestants saying there's no way I'd get off that train. No
way. I really felt something inside shift when I saw Fawzia nominate herself, like as a Canadian British person from Birmingham. Like I was just like watching the selflessness.
Yeah.
Like to have a hijabi basically just be like, y'all can't figure it out, I'm going to do this for us.
She smashed it, didn't she?
Yeah,
like,
you
she took
are
control.
an icon.
Yeah.
And we all need to learn from you.
Yeah.
And then to have a northerner, like a Yorkshire lad, be like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I'm doing the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump off the boat.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's why you can trust northerners.
Yeah.
And they all done it
good
very
people.
Yeah, and they all done it very differently. They all in their own carriages, and they all done it left in their own way and sacrificed themselves in their own way. And it was really refreshing to see. But I was like, what a gamble. But I think your strength should be in a faithful, because I think you would be like a traitor hunter.
If I was on the show, I'd go really quiet.
Yes,
and I would just be really kind to everyone.
Yeah.
And basically do what Theo didn't. It's just be like the best gay in the room.
Yeah, but I think
you'd be a traitor. I think you'd be a traitor. I think you'd be an amazing traitor.
I think faithful first of all, and then turn him halfway through. Someone would kill it.
Someone would turn me halfway. I think someone would be
that's
like,
the best journey for you. That's definitely the best journey.
Oh, I still think traitor from the top, because I wouldn't suspect him. He could probably tell me he's a traitor.
I would, because of the intelligence and how he would be on my radar. I would look at him 100%.
Oh, thanks. So this is what I was like really finding compassion with Amani, because as much as I think she like played a ridiculous game and like and bowed out, I saw a lot of myself in her.
Yeah.
And I was like, would I believe my own hype so much that I became really cocky?
Yeah.
And like, would I walk into a situation where people are eating and just be like, all right, cool, let's like rumor spin and then, like, and just do it really like erratically, where it just kind of like makes people feel overwhelmed so they don't question you. And then because the thing that she messed up on is the fact that as soon as someone had the inkling, everyone felt it.
Yeah.
I was like, she that was her Achilles heel. Like as soon as one person called it out, and everyone is smart enough now to be like, let's not have one person call her out, let's all call her out. Then she was gone. Like that, this whole like this dog piling is something that I find really interesting in the game, and I would never want that to happen to me.
No, and we've spoken about it. It's a horrible feeling when you know the walls are closing in on you, but if that's your feeling, everyone's on the same page, you want to get to day 2, let's get it out of the way. Let's go for her. Let's take the calculated risk. Let's do it. So 9 times out of 10 it doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does, especially in particular herself. I think she made herself such a massive target. But
I am looking forward to the shift of the dynamic where like at the round table that we start pulling out other names. Like I can't wait to see Liv be questioned or Leanne be questioned or Francesca.
Fantastic, yeah.
Oh, Leanne being questioned want to know what would be amazing.
So coming around
Leon's storyline, like I want to know what's going on,
the
like
backstory,
because he literally was just there to back up Chasm for a moment.
An observation that we made a couple of episodes ago on this, and it hasn't actually happened so far, where we found that a lot of the ringleaders, like Paul, was a really good ringleader.
Yeah, he was.
And a lot of the like Will was a really good ringleader.
He was the OG cult leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and I was like, it's always the ringleaders that are the traitors.
Yeah.
And this has been the first time that that's not happened, because you think a minister in the background, Lynn she wouldn't have a clue how to ringlead if it fell in her lap.
Yeah.
And then we saw Amani try and ringlead.
Yeah.
And it backfire.
I think they've opened it up really cleverly this year. I think they've picked all the traitors are very different. I do believe there were some ones that picking them would give the faithfuls a chance of getting them out early. I do believe that there's levels to them 3 individuals that have all different strengths. I believe they've done it to get someone early, because I think the whole, as you say, the whole dynamics when other traitors, because there's going to be other traitors coming in.
Yeah.
There's going to be other traitors recruited. That's when it's going to turn on its head.
This season will not be complete until there is a male traitor. And I'm not saying that because there has to be. I just feel like the dynamic will shift.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think that the 3, hopefully, inshallah, are coming back. Then we'll be able to allow them to get in the game as autonomous characters, so they don't all come in as one thing. I think that would just really like make it top heavy or bottom heavy. And so I think like they should have them find out who a traitor is, and then the other 2 come in and just like don't know who to trust. I think that'd be really fun.
Well, our year you had 4 traitors, me, Will, Hannah, Amanda. Last year you had 6 traitors. So the dynamics will change. There could be up to 6 traitors.
And what's the season that had? Was it Alyssa?
Alyssa was
Alyssa was incredible, because like if you go back and watch what she did on that season as a traitor, she didn't really speak, but she used incentivized prompting in order to get people to think things. One thing that I really remember was when she was talking to Miles and someone else about how she really respected someone else for saying who they voted for and voting for them, using respect as a module to get them to vote for that person, and never once even mentioning that she thought it was them.
I remember when I first come in the castle, she sat down to me, she went, "So Kieran, have you got any ideas straight away?" And I was like, I've only been here 2 minutes. But I'd used to see her work the room. Then she played the innocent young person card. She had a great...
she's had a very good... cute but psycho.
Absolutely.
I would never want to date.
She'd done the Ted Bundy theory, didn't she, with Aaron? She had some... Very intelligent, very intelligent lady, mate.
I'd have to change my password on my phone because I wouldn't trust her.
No, you can't.
I wish she'd have had... But her, unfortunately for her, she come on the radar massively the same time as Will had to self-preservation, because that time it was neck and neck with a trait was going that day. I didn't even look at Alyssa. Will was my target. Will survived by backstabbing Alyssa.
See, even watching that as a viewer, we knew that one of them was going, and it was a real nail biter.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I remember sat there and I was counting on my fingers. He's got one. I was like, one over.
Oh my gosh.
Going through. I was like, it's
that's
brilliant.
Now what everyone does now when you're doing, and obviously where it's going to end. Where is the last vote going to end? That's always a telltale sign of drama is on its way.
How do they decide who votes first? Because I noticed that halfway that they always get someone interesting to start the voting, and then by the end you're like, wait, where are we? And then there's like 3 amazing people. I just don't know.
They pick it randomly.
Okay, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
I can't talk about his productions. But,
I just watched Drag Race.
I am really looking forward to watching Celebrity Traitors, because the one thing that people can't do is hide, because we already know who they are.
Exactly. Have they done one? Are they doing one?
No, so
it's
happening.
Oh my gosh, it's my audition.
It's happening. And it's watching, because you think, if you're as a celebrity personality, there are 2 types. There are people who are who they are, and people who have a celebrity persona and they're not that person when the door's shut.
Yeah, of course.
And it's going to be very interesting to see who they get on there.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'd love to see? I'd like to see David Attenborough as a traitor.
That would be so funny.
Well, they said about there's some names banging around at the moment. I mean, I'm all here for it. As we see the traitor in his natural habitat.
No, at the round table.
Like Stephen Fry's name's been put around, and who's the guy that does Celebrity Point in this as well? Richard. What's his name? Big tall guy with the glasses. You should know. You probably worked with him.
Yeah, he used to do. We did
Richard Osborne.
Richard Osborne.
Yeah, Richard Osborne. Stephen Fry and him, very, very intelligent people, but they would. I think they'd be such a target as a traitor as well. So you'd have to put them in. I think they'd be a bit fundamentally flawed putting 2 people in like that. They'd probably be a massive target straight away.
Yeah, I do love the goofier characters though. Like when they get people who are just like a Hun or something like that, just like doesn't know what's going on, but then has figured out the traitor from day dot.
Yeah,
Stacey Solomon or something like that thrown in there. Yeah,
I'm that character who like doesn't know anything about British culture, but is just in the middle of television.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know who any of you are.
Yeah, I'm all here for it. I can't wait. It's definitely going to be, and it's a nice time to do it. I think season 4 next year will be the same time as the Celebrity, so it will come out simultaneously throughout the year, whatever time. But it's a nice time to do it.
I think right now having season 3 is just such a gift. And like television is like getting so boring and so repetitive. Like the reason why I was like messaging you guys being like, I need to have this chat with you is because this is one of the first shows where it actually comments on society. Like, we don't know who we can trust when it comes to media, politics, or people even. Even social media isn't real. And so this show teaches you how to sharpen your instincts and your better senses. And I think it's done in a really healthy way that doesn't teach you bad habits.
I think Traitors has reset and redefined where we're going with this. And I know inside rumours there is some big other reality shows coming out, like Traitor-esque style, and they've got some big names attached to it. I think normal contestants again, but they've got some big people presenting them, and it's got very Traitor-esque. And I think there's a couple coming out maybe 2025, maybe 2026, but it's very similar.
I think
genre.
We saw that the era of like using social media as a tactic to defy people's trust. But I think now we all know that. We all know it's fake. We know about Facetune. We know about ghosting and catfishing. Now it's coming back to how do you relate to people in real life? And that's why Traitors is so paramount, because like you could be sitting with someone and you really have to understand who you are and how far you're willing to go to win a game and also still maintain your integrity. Which I think is so cool.
It's also something else you said earlier on, that it's, as a social narrative, it should teach people to listen more. Because like we saw with Ellen, you're going to have someone who's saying, because she was spot on.
Absolutely called it. Yeah, bless her. Like,
absolutely.
Because she's pure as well. She wasn't, none of her intentions were, if she's just a purest intention, she even said back, maybe in hindsight, that show probably wasn't for me. She's quite happy to go, bless her. But that pureness of her gave her intuition, and she went bang on the money.
Do you know what? So Traitors has derived from the game Werewolf. There's a few versions. There's another version of
Among Us
as well. So they're all the same sort of thing. And the ideology behind it, the concept is that the informed few will always have a step up on the uninformed majority. And that's where this game has come from. So it does, I don't know if they meant to do it, but it does make you, I think it should make you question everything.
Yeah, of course.
I agree.
Yeah, it's really up to the traders to create the game as well. So I think that's why it's quite interesting to have a tiered dynamic of like Linda and Mina and Armani, because you're able to have such polarizing personalities, create a spark in the game that is actually really confusing. And I don't think we've had something as abstract this early in a season.
What else is going on this year, Ryan? Anything exciting? Anything you've got happening coming up?
Well, since January is a drag, we're doing DragCon UK.
Hey!
I'm very excited to be just like enjoying London. I mean, I cut my teeth in this part of town since I was young. On TV, I'm 27, but been 15 years. And so now
I'm Nigerian. I'm 12, mate.
Cute. So I just really feel like I'm just like letting the city and culture come to life again. I think after COVID and all that uncertainty, now we're seeing like things rooted and like grow, and I'm just gonna help it all flourish through culture and chaos.
And you're doing interviewing and media at DragCon, aren't you, this year?
Yeah. I'll be running around with a microphone interviewing all the queens. I'm from Canada. I love Drag Race UK. I'm a part of that family. And then Drag Race America obviously is really special to my heart. And I watch all the other seasons, so I get to meet all of those queens. And then throughout the year, I'm like throwing parties, playing festivals.
Amazing.
I have a handful of private parties this year in January, which is fun because
very nice.
Everyone's really hungover and they don't want to party, but I'm able to plan them.
Still do it. Well, I'm hoping to get there. I've been there for the last 2 years in a row, and I'll be coming back as well. So
you're on my invite list, don't worry. And
perfect.
Thank you very much.
He said he's never been. I was like, you need to come. What an amazing experience it is. The vibe there, the feeling. Like, I had the best time. The first year I went with Amanda, and we were doing like meet and greet and stuff like that, so I didn't have too much time to experience it, because we were just like, it was the first time the show come out and we were just couldn't walk 5 paces. Last year I went with Faye for my season as well, so, and I took my brother as well, so I'm looking forward to going this year. I can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal.
Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me into the universe. Like, I love the show, and when I saw you guys were doing this, I was like,
you're straight on it.
You're like, let me know what show I need to watch.
I love that. Very proactive. He was the first one to message him. I didn't ask. He went, I'm coming on.
Yeah. And I messaged on season 3 trailers. I'm like, I'll be mentioning you. Tune in.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's brilliant.
Perfect.
I'm just joking. My agent was called. I charged a huge fee.
He did.